Okay, this is the Unit 3 test review for the 7th grade. Now, number 1, you should have this test review on you already, so if you're looking at this from home, you should already have this with you. Make sure you take this home with you. Alright, number 1 says, which of these statements is true about similar shapes? Well, what are the two rules of similar shapes? What do you know about the opposite angles? Not opposite angles, the corresponding angles. Corresponding angles of similar shapes.
They look the same?
No. Shapes look the same. What about the angles?
They're like off road.
If I have this shape, and I have this shape, and I say they're similar, and this angle goes with this angle, what do I know about these two angles?
They can be divided.
They're congruent. Alright? Angles are congruent. Alright? What about the sides? Are they congruent? No, they're not, because they can get bigger, right? But they all have to get bigger by the same scale rate, which means the sides are proportional. Alright, now if we look at our answer choices, A says corresponding angles are congruent, so that's true. Corresponding sides are proportional, so that's true. So I'm going to go ahead and say A is our answer. But we can go ahead and check, make sure. B, corresponding angles are proportional. No, that's not true. Corresponding angles are going to be equal. Alright. C, corresponding angles are congruent. Okay. Corresponding sides are congruent. No, because if the sides were the exact same, we just had the same exact shape. Alright. D, corresponding angles are proportional. We know that's not true. Now, I'll tell you this. On the test, it's going to be the same four sentences there, except for they're going to be switched around. What's A on your test review is not going to be A on your test. So don't just go home and memorize the answer is A. Alright? You've got to learn. Corresponding angles are congruent. Corresponding sides are proportional. Any questions? Alright, well then moving on. Alright. The next one shows us a shape with a little smiley face in it. I'm going to draw a smiley. That's close enough. And then a bigger box with a bigger smiley face in it. Alright, on the little one it says 10 and 15. On the bigger one we have 45 and X. This is scale factor. What did I do to 15 to get 45? I did times 3. If you didn't know that, you could do 45 divided by 15. You would get 3. So what am I going to do to my 10? Times 3. What's 10 times 3? Alright, 10 times 3 is 30. 30 is our answer. Make sense? Alright. Next. Number 3 says, Lily's grandmother is making potato salad for a family reunion. She uses 3 potatoes for each person attending the dinner. If she expects 24 people to attend the reunion, which proportion can be used to solve for P, the number of potatoes? Alright, so how many potatoes is one person getting?
3.
Alright. And then we're having 24 people. We don't know how many potatoes. Alright, now we have several different answer choices here. Alright, A says 3 over 1 and P over 24. Right? It looks just like ours, just flipped around. Now, here's how I would solve this. What I would do is, we already know how to set this up. Alright, just like this. If you don't, here's what you study, how to set it up. Okay? Once you've set it up, let's go ahead and solve. What did I do to 1 to get 24? So what am I going to go to 3? Times 24. 3 times 24 is 72. So 72 is the amount of potatoes we need. Now all I have to do is figure out which of these answer choices go with 72. On A, we have 3 over 1 and P over 24. Now, I should be able to replace P with 72, because that's what we solved, right? Can I reduce 72 over 24?
Yes.
By what? I could reduce it by 24 or 2. I'm going to go ahead and do 24 just because it's quicker. And I'm going to get 3 over 1. Now, does 3 over 1 equal 3 over 1?
Yes.
Then that one's true. A would work. Alright. Now let's look at B. We have 1 over 3 equals 72 over 24. Instead of P, I put a 72. Alright. 72 over 24, what does it reduce by?
48.
Alright, 72 divided by 24 is 3. 24 divided by 24 is 1. Does 1 over 3 equal 3 over 1? No, doesn't work. Alright. Fair enough. Alright, let's look at C. 3 over 1, 24 over P, which is 72. That's going to reduce to 1 over 3. This does not equal this. Are y'all seeing the pattern yet? Solve for what it is. You should be able to solve for it, and then plug it in and see if it works. We have 3 over 24 and 72 over 1. Now 3 over 24 can be reduced by 3. That would give us 1 over 8. 1 over 8 and 72 over 1 are not similar at all. So our answer choice here would be A. Everybody understand how we did that? Alright. Alright. Number 4 says, if TJ and Lindsay want to leave a tip of 20% at the restaurant, which of the following is the closest to the amount of tip if their cost is $18.75? So I want to know 20% of $18.75. How do I solve that?
Multiply 1875 by. You change the.
We're going to multiply. We're going to change the percentage to a decimal, which is 0.2. We just go 1, 2 to the left. So 0.2 times 1875. Alright. So I do that. 1875 times 0.2. Oh, not 0.5, 0.2. I'm going to get, that's 10, 14 plus 1 is 15, 16 plus 1 is 17, and then 3. Oh, my bad. Don't do that. So I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3 decimal places. I don't need that 0, so it's $3.75. Any questions on how to do that? That question has pretty much been our warm-up for the past week, so I'm hoping y'all understand how to do that. Alright, number 5, awesome question. What is 15% written as a fraction? 15% as a fraction. Well, 15%. That's 15 over, 15 out of, that's 15 out of 100, right? That can reduce by 5. That gives us 3 over 20. We're done. That should be easy. Going up from percent to fraction can be pretty simple. The other way you could do it, 15% as a decimal is 0.15. We learned if we go 0.15, we can draw the line, drop the 1, and add the zeros. Now we're right back where we started, 15 over 100. Easy enough. That's number 5. Please nobody miss that one. Alright, number 6. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Now this problem is a pain, so make sure you pay attention here. We have ABC and DEF. Now, F tells us line AB over DE is equal to BC over DF. Alright, so let's take a look at this. If I have AB compares with DE, alright, just like BC compares with DF. Is that true? No, look, we've got this and this highlighted, and over here we've got different sides highlighted, right? So that one doesn't work. Alright, on the next one, we have AC over AB is equal to DE over DF. Alright, AC and AB goes with DE and DF. Does that work? Well, I did AC first. It's on top. And the DE is on top over here. Do those sides go together? No, they don't. So that doesn't work either. Alright. The next one. Oh, my bad. EF over DF is equal to BC over AC. Alright, well, EF is here. On the other one, BC is here. Alright, so those two go together. DF is here, AC is here. So these two go together. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and say this one works. Alright, so right now H is our answer choice that we're looking at. But let's go ahead and check the last one just to be sure. Alright, we have ED over FD is equal to CA over BA. Alright, so ED goes with CA, that's right here. Does that work? No, right off the bat, it's wrong. Alright, so in this case, H would be the answer choice we're looking for. Now, I'll give you a hint. Remember how last test I told you that some of these questions are exactly the same? Well, on this test, some of these are the exact same. Some of these questions are the exact same. Some of the questions have the same answer choices. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but, I mean, if you look, you might be able to figure it out. Alright. Number 7. It takes Anastasia 45 minutes to walk 2.5 miles to the park. So 45 minutes to walk 2.5 miles. Alright. At this rate, how many minutes will it take to her to walk 3 miles? Alright. All I did was set up a proportion. Alright. If you have trouble setting up proportions, here you go. This is what to study. I set it up for you. That's how we're going to set this problem up. Now, we've got to figure out what you multiply 2.5 by to get 3. How can I figure that out? We're going to divide 3 divided by 2.5 because 3 is our product. It goes inside. Alright, we move the decimal over, move the decimal over. How many times will 25 go into 30? 1 time. I'm going to get 50. How many times will 25 go into 50? Twice. Alright, so 2.5 times 1.2 will give me 3. Alright, everybody see how we did that? Everybody see how we did that? Alright, so what am I going to do to 45? Times what? 1.2. Alright, same thing we did right here. So, 45 times 1.2 equals 54. So it'll take her 54 minutes. Alright, again, set up the proportion, you'll be alright. If you have trouble with that one, remember, as long as you sign up for that Remind 101, I'm going to send you the link to this video. It should be some interesting watching. There's no commercials. Who needs to watch TV when you've got math? You can listen to my beautiful voice at home. Alright. Gerald got 64 out of a total of 75 questions correct. What is the best estimate of the percent Gerald got correct? So I've got to turn this into a percent. Alright? Well, remember we're estimating, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is pretty close to 65 over 75. Why would I make that 65 instead of 64?
And 75 will go on.
How does that make this easier?
Because you can divide it,
Divided by 5.
yeah.
Yeah, now I can reduce it by 5. It makes it a little bit simpler. Alright? That's going to give me 65 divided by 5 is 13. 75 divided by 5 is 15. So I got 13 over 15. I'm going to divide. 13 goes inside, 15 outside. That's 0. 15 goes into 130. What do you think?
6. 8.
I'm going to say 8 is a good guess. That's going to give us 120, so we're pretty close. All right, 15 goes into 10 or into 100. 7. Let's give it a shot. All right. 5. That gives me 105. So that's too big. All right. So 6 would give me 90. Now it's going to be 0.866 repeating now, which is okay because I can go ahead. If I have 0.86, I can say 86%. Alright. If you put 87%, that just means you round it up, which is fine. Either one of these will be acceptable. Does that make sense? Alright. Alright, number 9. Mary Beth has a 15-foot strip of ribbon. Yeah. She wants to cut the ribbon so that one piece is 3 foot longer than the other. What will the length of the shorter piece be? Alright, well I'm going to say L is the length of the shorter piece. Alright. Now if I add L to the longer piece, how much longer than L is the longer piece? 3 feet more. And together they're going to give us 15 feet. Now, if you need help understanding what I just wrote down, L is the length of the short piece. So the short piece plus this, in parentheses, is our longer piece. Because it's the same as L, just 3 more, right? Alright, so something plus 3 equals 15. Alright? Well, what plus 3 equals 15? 12. Alright. So L plus L equals 12. What does L equal? 6. Y'all see how that works? It's going to be set up exactly like this on the test tomorrow. You're going to set it up the exact same way. So that's something for you to study. Alright. Now number 10. Guys, number 10 is easy and a lot of people missed it last year. We have this shape right here. Drawn a little prettier on the paper than I did. Alright, so we have 8, that's an 8, sorry. 18, 6, 45, and 6. It says, this is the entranceway to Pine Cove Lake. It needs to be enclosed with new railing. How much railing is it going to take, including the gate? Okay, so we've just got to add all the sides. We're solving for the perimeter. Sorry for the bell. We're solving for the perimeter, right? So all we got to do is add up all the sides. What does this side right here equal to? 8. All we did is just drop that down right there. Alright, what about this side right here? 45. Don't forget to do that. Last year a lot of people forgot to do that. Now, what about this side? 6. It's going to be the same as up here. Alright, so now all we got to do is add. Now what I would do, once you have this labeled, I'm going to put 18, mark it out. That way I know I've used it. 8 and 8, mark them out. 6 and 6, mark them out. 45, 45, and then 6. We've got to add these up. Alright, 6 and 6, what did that make?
12.
8 and 8.
16.
45 and 45. plus 6? 96. All right. If I went 16 and 12, that's going to make 28. So now we've got 28 and 18 gives me 46. 46 plus 96 is 142. And that's our answer. Any questions on that? Alright, that one should be easy. Don't let that one trick you. Alright. Number 11. A bag of chestnuts costs $6.88, including tax. There are 4 dozen chestnuts in a bag. What would the cost of 5 dozen chestnuts be? Alright, so it costs $6.88 for 4 dozen. How much would 5 dozen cost? Alright, I need to figure out what I do to 4 to get to 5. To do that, I got to do 5 divided by 4. That gives me 1.25. So 4 times 1.25 gives me 5. So now I've got to do 688 times 1.25. 6.88 times 1.25. Oh, this isn't going to be fun, but y'all have done worse. You get 8.6 or $8.60. Alright. Now, the main thing to study on that one is the way we set it up. That was $6.88 over 4 dozen is equal to something over 5 dozen. Alright. As long as you can set this up right here, you'll be okay. Everybody understand it? Alright. Moving on. Alright, the math club at Emily's Middle School has 40 members. Only 20% of the members attend Saturday meetings. What is the number of members that attend Saturday meetings? We want 20% of 40, which is 40 times 0.2, which is 8. Only 8 of them come to their Saturday meetings. Not a very good club. Hopefully you guys can do number 12. We've done that again. That's problems just like that have been our warm-up. Alright, number 13. Alright, this one confused a lot of people last year. Alright, so make sure you're paying attention. Hiram, I don't know how to say his name, drove 1,488 miles in 3 days. Each day, he drove 8 hours. What was the average speed in miles per hour in the 3-day trip? So, this is what we would do. This is how far he drove. We want to know how far he drove per hour. Well, if he drove 3 days, 8 hours each day, how many hours did he drive total? 24. Alright? So he drove 1,488 miles in 24 hours. Now, I'm going to say 1,488 miles per 24 miles. Now, I want to solve for 1 mile, right? I'm sorry, for 1 hour. I don't know why I did that. I want to solve how far he went per hour. So how did I get from 24 to 1? What did I do? So what am I going to do up here? 1488 divided by 24. How many times do you think 24 goes into 148?
4.
I'm going to guess 6. Pretty close. How many times does 24 go into 48? Alright, so 62. He went 62 miles per hour. What? Well, maybe he was taking country roads. I don't know. Maybe he's just a grandpa and drives slow. Everybody understand how that one worked? Alright. Number 14. Susan rides her bike 5 miles in 3/5 of an hour. At that rate, how many miles could she ride in 2 hours? Alright, I gotta figure out what times 3 over 5 gives me 2. How would I figure that out? Divide. 2 divided by 3 over 5. Well, to do that, remember 2 becomes 2 over 1. We have to keep, change, flip. 2 over 1 we're going to keep the same. We're going to change division to multiplication, and we're going to flip the second. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. So 10 over 3. We multiplied by 10 over 3. So we're going to do that up here as well. 5 times 10 over 3. 5 over 1 times 10 over 3 gives me 50 over 3. Now, how many times will 3 go into 50? Well, to figure that out, that's 1, 6. We have a 2 left over, so it's 16 2/3. So she could go 16 2/3 of a mile in 2 hours. Again, this is set up the exact same way. Alright? So, thing you need to study, 5 miles, 3/5 of an hour is equal to some amount of miles over 2 hours. You need to be able to set this up. Okay? Alright. Alright. Number 15. On a map of a park, 6 inches represents 10 feet. How many inches would represent 3 feet? Now, this is what you got to study, setting it up just like this. Alright? Now, we got to figure out what times 10 gives me 3. To do that, we do 3 divided by 10. That's 0.3. So we're going to do 6 times 0.3. 6 times 3 is 18. We had 1 decimal place, so it's 1.8. 1.8 inches would represent 3 feet. Awesome. Now, number 16, alright, should be pretty simple. Alright, we're used to seeing these. This is just a refresher over fractions, decimals, and percents. Alright? It gives us the decimal and the fraction, it wants the percent here. Well, if it gives me the fraction, then making the percent is easy. That should be no problem. If it gives me the percent and wants the decimal, like in the next one, I just got to move it this way, and I get 0.2. Alright? Out of the 5 things in this table, 2 of them are just like that. Messing with percent and decimal. The only one that we have to go to a fraction is green over here. It says we have 0.182. All you got to do is draw the line, drop the 1, add your zeros. Now you just reduce it. Alright? That becomes 91 over 500. And I believe that's it. Alright, so that table at the end shouldn't be that bad. Alright? And that's the entire test. So make sure you guys study tonight. Alright?